1% how grimy they are, dude. Like, especially with all the child molestation cases that are being brought up on all these, like, celebrities and stuff. Like, this movie was just like, it felt like it was just like, holy shit, it's like, this is speaking the time. It's speaking with current.
Still relatable.
Yeah, because all these, like, think about it, like, we're barely pre-internet around this time. So there was really not enough stuff being documented like this. And the fact that this movie flew under the radar for a lot of us, like, I'm still amazed. And thank you, Wesley, for putting this as a feature tonight. It just became one of my favorite movies, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely think it's underrated for what it is. Like you said, it does touch on a very taboo subject, but I think when we do see porn in films, it's kind of glorified in a more positive way a lot of times, like in comedies and certain things. It's kind of like, oh, like all guys do this type of like, you know, machismo about it. But this one, especially because it's Joel behind the camera, it does a good job of showing you the fucked up, like, dirty, like, scummy, should I even be watching this, you know, vibe. And I really dig the commitment to that, where they're going to, like, the fucking, like, the porn swap meet and all these things,
like those underground markets. That was so weird,
that you would never get to see, and them kind of exposing that these things exist, and like that myth that, like, snuff films don't exist, and all this kind of terminology is just fascinating when you know really nothing about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know if you noticed during the film when they were going through the swap meet, they had like Polaroids, and they had like a bunch of them, and they had like one that said kids on there.
That
was so gross.
Fuck.
Oh man,
I was like, this is disgusting, dude.
Yeah.
And then, like, they're like, oh yeah, like, you know, like, it's funny because, like, the most moral guy of all it's funny because all of them, like, seem so grimy, so disgusting, but they're disgusted by the fact that somebody would bring up a snut film.
Yeah.
Like, all of them, like that Mexican guy.
Oh yeah.
Tries to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, dame todo tu dinero. Dame todo tu dinero. Like, give me all your money. Give me all your money. Like, leave. You gotta leave too. And it's like, they're like, he says, like, you know, they have bestiality film. They have all these, like, they had like working women, and so it's just like, it's just funny, like, there's still etiquette. With
the dirty underworld.
You went too far.
Like, they went too far.
I wanted to touch on what James said about Joaquin. We get a younger Joaquin in this, and he's just as good. He's like a little punk rocker kid who's gotten mixed up. He's super, you can tell he's intelligent. He knows his way around. And he's just kind of working this spot because it's convenient for him at the time, you know, and he kind of takes a liking to, Nick Cage's character, Tom Wells.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I love their chemistry when they start working together. It's great, and it's so weird to see them mesh so well, you know, because of who it is. You're just like, what? This is crazy.
Yeah.
And I do agree with Diego in a way, obviously, because we know Schumacher's style, and he's got these like weird. I think it was, to be honest, because this movie was shot. It's funny. It's called 8mm, and it was shot on super 35mm. So it's super ironic, but you can tell the graininess and the filter of the and the lighting and everything. It just adds to the dinginess of what's going on screen. And I don't know. I just I have a huge respect that this was done by a major studio is insane. You know what I mean? At that time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can only imagine the troubles that they went through with the MPAA, with all of the. I'm sure there's a director's cut somewhere lying around, you know.
Like commentary and
yeah, excessive,
Oh, man.
more gritty porn scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
I know. I read, and I didn't put this in my Swan facts, so I'll spoil it during the show. That when I think it's the swap meet, and they're showing that he goes into what I think it's like a little theater or something, and they're showing like somebody getting an enema or something. You remember that?
Yeah.
So apparently that's a real movie that's been heavily edited so it could be featured in the film, but that's really happening in the yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that wasn't
That's fucking nuts.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Just shocked the fact that shit exists.
Yep. Also, we have to talk obviously about the villains. James Gandolfini, very good in this.
He plays such a good scumbag who just he's like, what? It was money. Like, who cares?
He's like,
Yeah.
she's just a piece of pussy or whatever. He says that
Yeah.
so many times, or he's just like,
It's like, you know how many pussies come in here off the street?
I was like,
just-
God damn.
he's just that dirtbag porn producer,
Yeah.
you know?
It's funny because
Casting couch.
play that character is just on point for him.
Yeah, it's great. And then what's his name, Velvet, aka Peter Stormare, who is basically the mastermind behind everything. When we get to him, he's like this weirdo. He fucking he has a crossbow as a weapon.
Yeah, so weird.
Super flamboyant, but also you could tell he's not to be fucked with.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the gimpy dude Machine, who
that was his reveal was crazy, and his whole explanation was, it's just kind of there's people out there who are just like that just because.
Yeah, that's the perfect. I think that's what. If you could sum up this movie, it would be in what his explanation for everything. Because when they, spoiler alert, guys out there, when they reveal who the gimp dude is, he has a mask. He wears a mask through the whole thing. But one of the murderers involved in the snuff film he's revealed, and he's just like this normal, super nerdy looking white guy. He wears glasses, and
Even when he puts on his glasses, he's like, "Oh, you weren't expecting this, huh?" And he's like, "I wasn't molested as a child. My dad pushed me. I wasn't beaten. He's like, I just do it just because
I want to, because I can, And the shock on Cage's face is more. It's like that. That bothered him more than the other two guys, because they had he already knew how they were, but the fact that this guy, it's more like anybody could be doing that with a mask on, what I mean? And I feel like that's what's truly scary in this film.
I think we were, because other guys they wear it on their sleeves with pride,
Yeah,
they're just they did not give a fuck. And the fact that, and it is true, a lot of people wear this facade and they don't express themselves in that way, That's why it was a total shock for me. It was. I was like, God damn, what the fuck? Guy's like a next door neighbor or something,
And I think that's the whole point too of the thing is anybody could be that guy. You don't know. So to me, that's how I took it. It's just anyone can be that guy. Could be the guy who you walk by in the supermarket or talking to your neighbor while you're at your mailbox or whatever.
Yeah, it's insane.
And the freaking the lawyer or the attorney, whatever he was, the family Longdale or whatever his name was.
Yeah, what a backstabbing fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's how it is, man.
his explanation when Tom is like, why did he want this snuff film, and he's like, he wanted it because he had never seen one, so he wanted one. And when I couldn't find a video, we just paid someone to make one. And then, like, okay, that makes sense.
It's the epitome of white privilege,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he got it because he could, because he had never seen it before.
And that's the thing that's more scary. Like if somebody's like, "Oh, I haven't seen this. Maybe I should go pay somebody to do this."
Yeah.
The fact that people have a price to do that, like, is disgusting.
The people's morals have a price. So that's kind of, and you can see, like, when to me the scene that you brought up, Diego, when he's going through the black market, like swap meet or whatever, and he sees the Polaroids and it says kids right there, and you see him like up like, oh shit. And to me that's like him as a father being like, well, like, I have a daughter, and like that could be my daughter on these pictures.
Yeah.
And like, kind of, just being horrified. And then he goes home and he's like, when he grabs his baby and then talks to his wife, and it's just like, it sucks as he's seen this world that he probably didn't want to know existed.
You can't get that out of your head once you watch something horrific in your life,
Yeah.
Like, that's gonna stay with you regardless of how much therapy or anything. It's always gonna stay with you,
Mm-hmm.
And so,
in some capacity.
Yeah. And so for me, I was just like, man, damn, dude, like that must have been so. Imagine going somewhere where, like, there's imagine you being vegan and going somewhere where they're slaughtering animals and shit. Like, you're being traumatized.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, dude. It's just like the fact that, like, like, stuff like this exists and it's for real, and it was in the scene, like, pre-internet and shit. Because he even said it, like, this is like this is one of the spots to get it, but I have to warn you that everything's already going on the internet. They're already kind of acknowledging, like, the fact that everything's going digital.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn, like, fuck.
Also, I think if it wasn't for the internet, he wouldn't have been able to get all the he uses the internet to his advantage, blowing up certain scenes from this, from the 8mm reels, and he's able to realize that there's more than two people there,
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool that he was, because when you start the film, this older gentleman has passed away, and Nick Cage is what's his name? Tom?
Tom, yeah.
Yeah, Tom is hired basically by the widow of this guy. She's super rich, and she's found this snuff film, and she wants basically Tom to figure out whether the girl in the film was actually murdered or if it was fiction, if it was an actual, a film, basically to put her conscience at ease. And then we later on find out in the movie that they thought he was never going to figure it out, that he was never going to get as far as he did. And then when he started to uncover the real kind of web of lies and stuff, they try to take him out.
Yeah.
But what's awesome about this, in my opinion, is that even, like, he just kind of gets lucky, because he could have easily been murdered, and he makes mistakes, and he does things a normal person would, you know what I mean? Like, as far as mistakes, and this film doesn't really pull any punches with all of a sudden it becomes, super, like, he just fucking murders them and he knows how to fucking use weapons so good or anything like that. Like, when he gets free and the struggles and everything, it's very not rehearsed, and I dig that.
Definitely, they made this, it's funny because, like, if you really think about it, like, he really did, to me, he really didn't make mistakes, but he who really did at the the stupidest stuff that like got him caught in certain events, you know?
Yeah.
Like